Hello and welcome to Compelled to Impact. Today is episode 104, Powerfully Transform Your Life, Unlock Your Heart. It doesn't matter what you feel unqualified for or where you feel stuck. It's a proven fact that when you give, you receive. You might not receive the exact same thing that you've given away, but you will receive. One of the most powerful things you can give that contributes to healing and growth of not only yourself, but the recipient is forgiveness and grace. I get it. That other person who did or said terrible things to you doesn't deserve to be forgiven. That's really none of your business. In fact, you really hope they experience something similar so they can see how much that hurt you or feel how much it hurt you. Well, chances are they aren't feeling or thinking about what they did as much as you are. You are keeping yourself in prison because it's not really fazing them. They're most likely not thinking about it at all. They probably won't feel the pain like you did because the people and situation will be very different. Doesn't that just make you so angry? Well, it actually shouldn't, because that's kind of how things work. And as soon as we figure that out and we figure out that it is our personal responsibility to take care of ourselves in this way, to self-soothe and get past a lot of things, the better we will be. I mean, really, how dare they not even have a thought about what they did? On the other hand, none of that is any of your business, as I've said. You can't fix most of these situations and probably won't be vindicated in a way that satisfies you. In fact, I know from personal experience that most of the time, the more you try to fix something, the worse or more convoluted it can become, because it depends on the other people involved and the situation and their motivation as well as your own. The other person might be out to prove you wrong at any cost because they've used you as a stepping stone for their own gain or reputation. It's also possible that none of this vindictive behavior is involved and it was all innocent. Could be. None of that really matters if you're hoping to transform your life in the most powerful way possible. Are you ready to know this powerful secret weapon you have? You probably already know it. It's forgiveness. That's it. It's the simplest and most effective thing you can do, however, usually not the easiest. Why should you forgive someone who hurt you? Well, without forgiving, you keep yourself in an emotional, mental, and spiritual prison. Forgiving may not affect them as much. It can set you free from the festering, soul-destroying stress you are holding on to. Forgiveness is a powerful form of letting go and allowing your brain to focus on the benefits of conquering painful situations and creating more joy in your life and more to be grateful for. Forgiving is like releasing yourself from an obligation you've taken on that only keeps you unable to move forward. That's a tough one, isn't it? Because you don't feel like it's an obligation, you feel like it's your right. But you obligate yourself when you don't forgive yourself or other people. Forgiving someone else can open the door to understanding and communication. Usually people only know what they know until someone brings something new to their attention. We're all like that. Forgiving someone who hasn't asked to be forgiven can open a whole new way for them and for you to see something more clearly. I did that once and it healed our friendship so we could each move on with more soul freedom. I've probably done it more than once, but the one time is the time that I really remember because she was extremely grateful. And I actually didn't think she needed to be forgiven, but when those words were spoken, it really opened up her heart. The companion to forgiveness is grace. Grace is honoring and respecting that other person for who they are and not who you expect them to be. None of us have the same experiences, personalities, or backgrounds to really know and understand why someone else would be hurtful, either intentionally or unconsciously. None of this makes what they did right or justified. Forgiving with grace is a way of saying that you understand there's only so much a person can know at any given time, and you are willing to work with that if they are. You can even close the door in that moment, but leave a window a bit open if they're willing to honestly connect with an intention to bring understanding to the situation. Sometimes none of that matters. It's just about releasing that person from your condemnation and pain. In fact, forgiving them can be a way to forgive yourself for your involvement and your part in whatever happened. That brings us to the person who is sometimes hardest to forgive and have grace for, you. When you feel resentful for something in your life, or you feel deep regret and sorrow for your thoughts, words, or actions, it's probably because you need to forgive yourself. I know, I've been there plenty of times in the past, especially having made choices that turned out to be more of a disaster than I imagined. You're most likely the most critical of yourself than of anyone else. If so, it's time to practice forgiving yourself and giving yourself grace for only knowing what you knew at the time, for having misinformation, perhaps, or not understanding the gravity of the situation. When you give grace and forgive yourself for your mistakes, you raise your value and standards to where they should have been in the first place. Then you see others differently as well and are able to sincerely forgive others with grace so you can both move on to unlock higher possibilities in your lives. The best way to make this happen is to spend time doing it. As often as possible, make a list of people and situations you feel compelled to forgive. With each item, lean into it and in your mind, make peace with forgiving while giving the gift of grace. So there's a sense of freedom from condemnation, even if it's your own. Eventually, you'll begin to feel the presence of your soul spirit connection, aligning with God's spirit like a blanket of peace and comfort surrounding you. I like that better than the condemnation that you can feel for yourself. Make this a weekly habit, and soon you'll begin to see a most powerful transformation of living excellently from your heart. Thank you so much for listening to these videos and doing your part to change the world, adding value in your circle. I'm Gina T, Spirit-Led Life Mentor. See you next time. And remember to live excellently, give generously, and love lavishly. Oh, and check the show notes for links to my new book, Be the Masterpiece. It's on my website and on Amazon. There are different prices for a reason, but it's not a lot, and it's only like 80 pages, so it's pretty easy to read unless you spend time in each chapter, which are short. Chapters are short. And there's also a September 2024 Elevating the Spirit of Divine Feminine retreat in the San Bernardino Mountains at Lake Arrowhead. Mid-September, I believe it's the 14th and 15th, but I'll have that information in the show notes as well. So until next time, be excellent, give generously, and love lavishly. And have a wonderful rest of your summer. Ciao.